Hello, YouTube. I hope you all had a fabulous Valentine's Day. Uh, um, Yesterday I just went grocery shopping. Nothing major, but I am proud of my son because I teach him things, but a lot of things he's is self-taught with him. And there was a girl that tried to make him second choice, and he wasn't having it. She got a whole boyfriend, but she was asking him, "Oh, can we hang out?" He said, "No, I'm tired." And it's so true. I watch a lot of algorithms and Tasia. Shout out to Tasia. Those of you who follow her, she's on Facebook and YouTube as well. Stefan Speaks. And there's another one I can't remember his name off top, but it's just a whole bunch of them that give really good advice. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. Um, don't be second choice. Don't be second choice. A lot of people get together off of that, and I mean, if you like it, I love it. But always be first choice. Don't be somebody's second choice. And some people don't know that they the second choice. You got a lot of women who they was with somebody and the person was doing them dirty, and then they broke up with the person, and then the friend turned into the boyfriend turned husband. But in reality, that makes you a rebound. She wasn't gonna choose you first, but because you just happened to be there, it's like, oh no, we not raising suckers. And I love the quote from like 10 years ago. They don't really put it out, but I'ma say it. Y'all better be raising independent women, because my son ain't no ATM. My son's successful. He on the swim team. He step competition, 3.8 GPA. He going to college. And I'm just so proud of him. And I'd be damned if some bimbo, some broad try to mess that up. And it's funny because I was telling him, like, yo, go ahead, going ahead. He was like, no, mom, because I told her already I was tired. I told her I did not feel like going out. And that's one thing about my son. If he don't want to do something, he is not doing it. And so, rightfully speaking, because he has school, he works, he also has an internship. He, swim team, he's in culinary, and he's in a play at school as well, and he's on a step team. So he is very busy. So when the weekends come, he likes to relax and watch his Netflix, and I don't blame him, you know. But I actually wanted to talk about the movie Match Meet Murder, and the movie is a little corny. It's not as good as the others, but it's a good concept because it's just teaching you to don't be in a rush, and be cautious with people you meet. It's not even about online dating, because a lot of people could die at the hands of their partner regardless of where they meet. Those of you who have Netflix, um, there's an episode where a woman, they actually met in high school, and so she actually kills him and chops his body up, and she's on a run. And it's scary because he knew this person from high school. Imagine basically growing up with somebody or knowing somebody from childhood. You get with them and they end up crazy. That's scary. So I used to feel like that with the online dating. Like, people are just weird, but people are weird regardless of where you meet them. And that's the scary part. You could meet somebody in church and they could be mentally unstable. You can meet somebody in the club. There's people that I've met in the club and they got married and they living happy. Those of y'all who follow Basima on YouTube, she met her husband in the club. Not only is he her husband, he's stepfather to her 3 daughters. And then they have 3 boys together. Wonderful marriage. She's very happy. Yeah, so it's like it doesn't even matter where you meet a person. Sickos and weirdos are everywhere. Sad to say, And I think I told y'all in a previous video that all the weirdos I met that was stalking me and stuff in the past, I didn't meet nobody off the internet. So it just shows you like it doesn't matter. It just shows you like, people are people and weirdos are weirdos, and they're just one of them I actually met at work. And that was the last one. And I had the guts to tell him. First of all, I cursed him out and let him know that I'm not weak or scared of him. And that's very important. And I threatened to call the police. It's good to say that anybody who blows up your phone, that is now considered stalking charges, and it's a misdemeanor. So that brings into my next story of Mr. Nightmare. So I wanted to talk about some things, some stories on his. I don't know if I've ever talked about it on my channel, but I think I want to start doing that. Like, those of y'all, somebody did ask me like for an email address. I've been skeptical because people are weird. I guess I could make up a fake email. I don't know, because I don't want people bombarding me with emails, right? So with Mr. Nightmare, people email him stories and he reads them out loud. Nothing he writes himself, right? So it's 3 Ubu stories I know of. I feel like I've heard them before last night, but they stuck to me and maybe they could help somebody. And also Valentine's Day stories, right? So again, this has nothing to do with meeting somebody off the internet, whatever. There are sickos everywhere, but I just want to share this story. So it was a guy 2 days before Valentine's Day, and so he meets somebody off a Tinder. They go out on a date. She comes back to his place, and they have sex, and so she goes to the bathroom. When he wakes up, she's not there. So he notices that she's standing in a corner, and she starts yelling and screaming and hitting him. It's crazy. So then I think at some point she leaves, and then he notices that she defecated like all over his bathroom. He calls the police, and it's like, what? That's so bizarre, but it's true. She obviously was mentally unstable. And the fact that it happened after sex, like everything was normal until after sex. So maybe something like, I don't know. I don't know what to say to that. That's just kind of like, wow, that he didn't see anything. He didn't notice anything weird about her until after, because that's a very vulnerable moment. Somebody is in your home, in your bed. He could have killed her. Or no, she could have killed him, because he's naked, he's vulnerable. And I feel like that's why a lot of people end up dead by their spouse. They always kill them in the bedroom or the shower, because those are the 2 places where you're vulnerable. You're not really thinking. You're either sleeping or, you're in a relaxed state. So you're not going to be, if you try to attack somebody in the kitchen, they're going to attack back, because there's weapons, there's knives in there, whatever. But I feel like your bedroom and your bathroom, the predator knows that you're not going to really be on attack mode, because you don't expect it in those 2 places, Yeah. So that was the online story for Valentine's Day. Another story, it was a couple that they went out and another couple was following them. That's weird, because usually it'll be like one person, but it was an older couple and they knew things about them. Very weird. And then so when they fled the scene, so they went to an arcade, but nobody was in there, so they left. What happened was they went to a restaurant and it was a 45-minute wait, so they was looking for things to do. They go into an arcade and then it's like nobody there, and so this couple pops up and tries to talk to them. And it was weird, because it's like, why are you trying to talk to us? We don't know you. Like, that's very strange. And then it's like the lady had a weird smirk on her face, and it's just, these stories are not only entertaining, but it just teaches you have to be aware. So if you and your man is out, be careful of your surroundings. And I like this story because it just shows you it's not just, we always think of a serial killer or a predator as somebody working by themselves. Sometimes they could be with somebody else, which I didn't realize, because this older couple were predators. They were after this couple. And they were after this couple because what happened was, the girl was like, yo, let's get out of here. The guy was like, no, let's not let them ruin our night. It's Valentine's Day, whatever, whatever. So they sit down, have a meal, and so they leave. And then when they're driving on the road, that same older couple is following them. So the car gives out way. I don't know what happened to the car, but the car, I think the engine, something happened where the car just wouldn't move. So at this point, they leave the car, they go into the bushes, they're hiding. And so the older couple, they actually see and hear them, and they're like, damn, we lost them. So the girl, they actually like, they called her friend, I think it was, or no, they called her parents. And so the parents came and got them to come to her house. And then they called AAA for his car to pick up his car or whatever. But it was just such a strange story because most people will say, oh, you tripping, they not going to bother us. No, if you feel something, do something. And that's what the message I'm trying to convey in this video. With Meet, what was it? Meet, Match, and Murder, that movie, there were so many red flags. Number one, he like was very, he was too persistent. Like, persistence is good, but he like popped up at her job or whatever, and it was like, well, how did you know where I worked? He was like, oh, I googled it. That's a red flag of someone that is weird. Sorry to say. Like, there's nothing wrong with a guy. There's a difference between, and I spoke about this in a previous video, it's a difference between a guy liking you and a guy being obsessed with you. And you will feel it in your gut, right? Like when I told y'all about the dude who, he was a fucking weirdo, and my friends even were like, well, he seems like a nice guy, why you don't like him? I was only 16, 17 at the time. I never had a dude blow up my phone, so I knew it was weird, but I didn't know what to do. Like, I was only 16, 17, but I knew it was wrong because it's a person overriding your will. And you have to pay attention to that, ladies. Anytime, and it could be anything. Him popping up at your job, him blowing up your phone. What else? Him just overstepping bounds. Him sending flowers to your job and you know you didn't tell him where you worked. It may seem like it's nice, but that is a sign of obsession. It's a sign of control, that he's trying to control you. I'm so serious. So with this or whatever, he's like, oh, I was thinking we could have lunch. That's a red flag, because who told you that I wanted to? Now for me, I would have definitely took offense, because it's like, I didn't tell you where I worked. That's first and foremost. Like, you don't do no shit like that. And I remember talking to a friend of a friend, and she wasn't mentally stable. I cut her ass off. But there's like, in our culture, it's like acceptable for women to do it to men. But when men do it, it's wrong. No, it's wrong either way. And I'm talking to my fellas, I'm talking to my ladies. If somebody pops up at your job and you know you never told them to come up, you know you didn't tell them to. First of all, if you're dating someone, and I remember telling a friend of a friend, if you're somebody's girlfriend, you do not have to. I've never had to pop up at my ex's job. He brought me to his job. I never had to pop up. He'd be like, oh, you want to come? Cool. We used to eat in his office. Yeah, like his coworkers knew me. I never had to pop up. I was working in the area and he knew that. So he was like, okay, yeah, you can come. I'm going to meet you up. There was times when I didn't even want to go in his office. it was a nice day. So he was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna meet you outside. Because you know where he works, there's like an outside portion where you could sit down and eat. So we did that a lot or whatever. But it was never, I never had to pop up because I was always invited. And but even though I was welcomed, I always would give him a heads up. I would never just pop up at somebody's job because you don't know what's going on. What if he's in a meeting? What if he is training one of his students? Because he was a supervisor in a library, so a lot of training was going on. I would never do that because I don't know. He could have called off that day. So you look stupid popping up at a man's job and he not even at work, or he's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not cool to do that. Even if you, I don't care if you've been with the person 10 years, you just don't do no stuff like that because it's overstepping bounds. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. So when this dude did that, he popped up at her job and she's like, well, how did you know where I worked? He talking about something, he Googled it. You're not supposed to tell a person that. It's like, I'm team Google. Like, my homegirl taught me that. That's how she found out that her ex used to rob banks. And he had a record and she found out from Google. So I don't knock Google. If you need to Google somebody, cool. But you keep that to yourself. You don't Google somebody's job and then pop up. Like, what the hell? No, you don't do that. So he pops up at her job. They go out for lunch, like a picnic situation, and it's cute, but again, that's overstepping bounds. Then the last scene, he pops up and he kind of let himself in and he tries to kill her. Luckily she gets free, whatever. And the TV reality show reality host, she tries to kill her. It's a whole mess. But red flags and paying attention to them is important. Then the best friend, it seemed like she was hating because she was getting jewelry, but her best friend was trying to warn her, like, hey, don't you think things are going a little too fast? For me personally, I don't think there's a right or wrong time to receive jewelry, especially because they was intimate. So I don't think that's a red flag. But what is a red flag is him trying to take up all her time. They had lunch together and then he was like, oh, let me see you again tonight. She's like, no, I have another date. And so that date didn't work out. And so him and her started seeing more of each other. But yeah, I said all that to say this is, if someone oversteps their boundaries, no good. If you feel something in your gut, if you're out with your man and somebody following y'all or you feel uneasy, you go with that feeling. Most people be like, oh, they're just saying hi. No, why are they saying? And that's another thing. Like, with catcalling, right? We call that catcalling. Men who keep saying good morning, good morning, good morning, and you notice they're not saying it to anybody else. And I remember putting that up on Facebook and I was criticized by other women. One of them was a close friend and the other one I knew from junior high school. And I'm like, y'all are women. Y'all should understand me better than anybody. My homeboy understood it because he's seen it with his own eyes with guys that's trying to overstep bounds and make you say hello to them. No, you are human. You are a woman. If you don't want to say hello to someone in the street, you do not have to say hello to these men. That's called overriding somebody's will. That's not right. Because the same way that he's trying to say hello to you or get your phone number or anything of that stature, why isn't he doing that to everybody who walks past? He's not. He's only doing that to you or maybe one other female, right? So that's a sign of a predator, somebody who's trying to override your will. I'm telling you, yeah, so pay attention to that. The same thing with the couple. Some people might say, oh, they didn't do nothing, but guess what? That girl, she felt it, so most people that was listening to the story, they didn't listen to the whole story to the end, because that couple was following them. Okay, she felt it in her gut. The boyfriend thought at first she was overreacting, but then after they came into the arcade and was following them at that point, then that's when the boyfriend was like, oh yeah, I see what you mean. Because the couple just kept staring at them. It's like, why are you staring at us? What did we do, you know? And so the boyfriend is like, because they had a 45-minute wait time for the dinner. And he was like, let's not let them destroy our night. Let's try to still have a good time. Me personally, I'm like, no, I would have felt, because they could meet us in a restaurant. Luckily for them, they wasn't in the restaurant, I don't think. But when they came out the restaurant, the same couple was waiting for them. And then that's when they flew in their car. They was driving, and that couple was following them on the road. And luckily, the car went out. Like, the car gave way, so they went in the bushes and was hiding. And then that couple was like, oh shoot, we missed them. What? Like, what did you plan on doing? But that girl, her gut was right. Like, yo, why is that couple following us? Why are they staring at us? Why are they just looking at us for no reason? You know, you have to follow your gut or whatever. And the boyfriend is her husband now, and the way the story ends is like, it's a story that they could tell their kids, you know, or whatever. But yeah, you have to trust your gut instinct. Ladies, if you're alone, especially New York City, late at night, you on a train and you see some creepy guy, please go to the next car. Go to the next car. It's okay to get up and go to the next car. It's perfectly fine. It's okay to ask for a ride home. I also wanted to talk about a few Uber stories. Oh, yes. So, yes. So, you know how all of us, for me personally, I always look at the license, but I could understand why somebody wouldn't look at the license, because when you're like trying to get a Uber, you're not thinking twice. But in this story, two girls, they were on vacation, I believe, or just a night out on a town. It might have been girls' night out. And so they get an Uber, and they just say to the guy the name, and he nods his head. It's complete silence, and they realize he's going on the wrong route. So it's like, okay, luckily she had a knife on her, and she was like, you gonna let us out this car or else, whatever. So basically, they get into the Uber. They didn't check the license or whatever, which is a lot of people, you know, they don't really think twice. And so he's taking the wrong route, and luckily the girl had a knife on her, like, yo, you don't stop, you know, I know how to use this or whatever. So luckily they got out. It was in the Washington, D.C. area. So they got out and was able to get another Uber. But yeah, always make sure that. And then unfortunately, you have Uber drivers that have raped people. That was going on for pre-pandemic to up till now. So even with a legit Uber driver with the license and everything, things could still happen. But what I would say is always trust your gut. Always trust your gut. Like, I remember just in general, like I feel like I've canceled Ubers before. Yeah, if it don't feel right, don't do it. You know, there's sex trafficking, kidnapping going around. A lot of women are missing because of because of some Uber drivers and people who pretend to be cab drivers, especially like in tourist areas. You know, it's really crazy out here. You just gotta, like my father would say, take God with you everywhere. Pray without ceasing, because it's a scary world. You know, another story with Uber. was Uber Eats. So the girl, she was living alone, cleaning and waiting for her boyfriend. Her boyfriend never made it. And the Uber Eats guy was banging on her window and I guess was trying to get in. And her neighbors had called the police, you know. And his car was parked like feet away. It was crazy, you know. But he was a legit Uber Eats person who was trying to attack her, who was trying to get inside of her apartment. And she called the police and everything. And then the banging started again at 2 in the morning. And then her neighbor called the police, you know. So she was like, since that incident, she don't order Uber Eats no more. You know, I don't know what she ordering, but she don't order Uber Eats no more. You know, yeah, just be careful of your surroundings. Just listen to that gut, just like with that girl when she was with her man and with the older couple. Like, at first he thought she was tripping, but she's like, no, why are they looking? And it's true. Like, why are they looking at you? Why, you know, anybody you see staring at you or whatever, you know, people are weird. You know, you have two brains. You have your gut, you feel stuff in your stomach, and you have your head. Use your head. Listen to, you ain't crazy. The world is crazy. Remember that. You ain't crazy. If you feel something or something don't feel right, I don't care what space you're in, get out of that situation. Get out of that situation. Oh yeah, another Uber story. The guy, he was the driver, and a guy came in and he said something like, oh, I could have killed you. Oh, you picked the wrong guy. You know, so he takes him to this location and the house is empty. No, the house had lights on. And he was like, oh, I can't do nothing. They still there. So it's like, what? You finna to do a robbery or something? Like, what? What you mean they still there? So then he tells the driver to take him back to where he picked him up from, which he does. And then he's like, oh, you picked the wrong guy tonight. And so he leaves luckily he leaves the car. But it's like, you know, it goes both ways too, because like as an Uber driver, you endangering your life too. You don't know who you letting in your car. You know, somebody could randomly start hitting you, defecate, throw up, whatever on your seats. Like, that's, you know, it's risky too. You know, but and they already in your car. See, a passenger, they can kind of look at the person or whatever, but Uber drivers, they have it worse, because it's like the person's already in your car, they already paid type stuff, so it's even scarier for them, you know. But yeah, just be careful out there, guys. Just be careful. I feel like the next time I do a video, Miguel is coming to Radio City Music Hall on the 28th, 27th. It's Tuesday, so not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday. Miguel is coming to Radio City. And what's today? The 15th? Tomorrow's the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. The 24th. He has come in February 24th at 8 p.m. at Radio City. Tony Braxton is coming to Barclays, finally, with Boyz II Men and New Edition. I'll be there. Front row and center. I'll be there. I'm definitely going to be there. I got my ticket. Jodeci is coming to King's Theater on Mother's Day. And Summer Walker is coming to Barclays June 2nd. So y'all better get y'all tickets. I got mine. So I just wanted to make those announcements. And enjoy the rest of your Valentine's Day weekend. Enjoy and be safe.